Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here. Today, it's Saturday. I've got some water, so it's time to talk. That's right, it's STS episode 5, and we're going to kick things off by talking about content creation and sort of talking to those of you who are trying to get into content creation. So a common thing that I see in a lot of my videos is people going, hey, Serial, I just started making videos. Check it out. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? How am I doing with this video? Do you think my channel has a chance? Can I make millions, maybe even billions of dollars? I want to be the next Elon Musk by posting Minecraft Let's Plays. Like, there's people that come up with all sorts of crazy ideas. Some of it I want to dispel some of those ideas, and some of it I want to tell you guys, like, don't spend money on stupid stuff. Because there's a lot of people out there just spending money on ridiculous things, thinking that somehow it's going to help their stream. Yes, I understand. It's great to have a Pikachu dildo collection or whatever you want just behind you, but it's not going to make people come to your stream. Maybe people will come if it is a Pokemon dildo collection, people are going to show up to see that, I think, but it's not going to get you long-term viewers, I think. But what I'm saying is basically there's a lot of people spending a lot of money on stuff that they don't need to do. And my content creation setup is almost completely free. The microphone I'm talking on, the mixer I'm using, stuff like that costs money. But my initial setup, the setup that got me to about 10,000 subscribers, is practically free. And you can probably do it with all the stuff you've got just scattered throughout your home right now. So first off, let's just dive into the hardware side of things. For hardware, what I use is nothing special. I've got an HP Omen gaming laptop that's from 2017. This laptop, if I was going to sell it to someone, I'd probably sell it to them for like $100, $200, just to give you an idea. I've got an Xbox Series S, which costs about as much as an Xbox Series S costs. I don't even remember what the price is, but it's not that much. And if you're playing video games, which if you're going to be doing a gaming channel, that's probably what you want to do. Like, if you're going to be doing a cooking channel, you should probably be good at cooking, unless your channel is shitty cooking. And in that case, you should probably be bad at cooking. But if you're going to be doing gaming videos, you should probably be already playing video games. So yeah, laptop and a gaming system. You don't even need that if you get a gaming laptop, but whatever, like, you get it. The stuff that you're already using. In addition to that, because I'm using an Xbox Series S, I need some way to capture that video. You can stream natively from an Xbox, and I'm not sure about a PlayStation, but I think you can, to Twitch, and you can download videos off of Twitch. But for me, that was taking too long, so I've got a SSD. So basically, that's an external hard drive. The one that I've got here is 2 gigs, but I think you can buy like a 1 gigabyte hard drive for something like maybe $100, okay? A 1 gigabyte SSD. It's going to copy all your video perfectly fine. The quality is going to be like what you're seeing here. Pretty decent, okay? Now for the microphone, that's actually where I did spend a lot of money. So I used to be working with a Snowball microphone. I think it's like a Blue Snowball or something like that. It's those round, shiny microphones. The audio is not too bad on that. If you record on the right programs and do everything correctly, it's not too bad. That costs about $50. What I've got here is actually a way more expensive setup. So the microphone's a Rode Procaster that I got used. I got a pretty decent deal on it, and I paid about $200 for it. In addition to that, you've got your XLR cable, which I think is like $10 or whatever it is. And then you've got a Go XLR. I think that was like $250, I'd like to say. That I got new. But yeah, that's the setup right there. The microphone total, everything like that, probably cost me about $500, which sounds pretty steep when you think of everything, but it's not. I've made my money back many times over on this microphone. Definitely worth it for me. But if you're just starting out, you can do a $50 microphone, see if you like things. And if you know what you're doing in Audacity, you can easily get over a lot of the stuff that just this microphone naturally fixes. One of the reasons that I invested in this microphone, invest in this setup, is because I want something where I can just reach over, grab the microphone, put it in front of me, and go. I don't want to have to do any editing. I don't want to have to bother with Audacity. I want to be able to pump out videos because it means that I can pump out more videos rather than wasting time balancing audio and trying to figure out how to reduce this, how to do that, how to make things sound better. I just go, I record, and I push what I've got. So what I'm doing right now for the audio is I'm recording that in Audacity, and this is where we're getting into the free part of things. So if you're paying attention right now, I've just told you maybe you need an SSD, let's say $100 for that, and a microphone, assuming you don't have one, and that's going to cost you probably about $50. So $150, you just got into content creation, assuming you don't have any of the stuff I mentioned. Most of you probably have an SSD, or you could just stream your video to Twitch, and then you're live streaming, and after you get done live streaming, you can actually pull the video down and use that for your YouTube videos. In that case, you don't need a hard drive, and all you need is that $50 microphone. So right here, you just got into streaming for $50. That's pretty good. And that's all you're going to pay for. We're going to go over some other stuff that I use, and all of it's completely free. So the first thing I use is Audacity. It's a great audio recording tool. I have that on my computer. When I hit record, it starts recording the audio coming out of this microphone that I'm talking into right here. The microphone sounds just like it does. I've got Go XLR set up to balance things, but you can also use some of the effects in Audacity to add a little bass and stuff like that. If you want to make something like a blue snowball sound good, generally what I find is you add bass to it and it's going to sound better. And then you can just clear things up by mucking around with the settings a little bit. But basically just add a little bit of bass. Things sound better. They sound a little more boomy. One thing that's really hard to get rid of is the echo. You can probably, I'm going to ruin this video by telling you to do this, but listen to this video. There's echo in this video. That's one thing that I actually probably would fix if I could. I need to buy some more stuff just to put in this room to make it filled more, to give it more of a like softer sound so there's less of an echo to this audio. But most people don't care that much about audio. Well, all right, most people don't care that much about a slight echo. Now that I've mentioned it, those of you who are in better systems, have better speakers, everything like that, you probably do hear it. If you're on bass headphones, you probably don't hear it. And that's one of the things, too, that you've got to pay attention to. Most people aren't listening to this video on $10,000 stereo systems. I mean, if a lot of you guys are, make sure you hit the like button because you're doing awesome in life. But most of you are probably listening to this on like AirPods or just some junk headphones that you've got. And that's what I do. When I try to balance my audio, try to figure out if everything's good, I listen on multiple different speaker systems. This is important, by the way. Multiple different speaker systems, see how it sounds, and assuming it sounds good on most of them, we're good to go. Like I'm downstairs, like I'm in a house, downstairs, I've got like a pretty decent setup, like a pretty decent speaker system, right? Like we're talking about like a 4-figure speaker system. On there, my audio doesn't sound great. Right next to me, I've got a pair of headphones that basically are falling apart piece by piece. On that, it sounds amazing. Why does it sound so good? Because they're shitty headphones and this microphone costs a lot and it balances out. The headphones just don't have the bass. They don't have the vibrancy to pick up all the little intonations and things that are going wrong. Same with AirPods. They really don't have a bass or anything like that. So something like this sounds great. Laptop speakers, again, something like this sounds great. My monitor speakers, again, something like this sounds great. More expensive headphones, it doesn't sound that great, but it still sounds okay. So basically what I walk away saying is if someone's watching this like some sort of motion picture, they're going to notice that this video isn't that great. The audio is not that great. The editing is not that great. Everything in general isn't that great. You should not be watching these videos like they're the next Marvel Avengers movie, right? Special effects are very low budget in serial overdrive videos. In fact, they're non-existent. But that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, most people are going to not notice a blue snowball that's got a little bit of a bass crank and everything like that. And you can run that with Audacity 100% free. Next up, video editing. You could buy some expensive stuff, but you can also just use DaVinci Resolve. 100% free. It's a legitimate program. You can break up your clips, edit them, make a really good video. There's going to be no watermark on it. At the end of the day, you can upgrade DaVinci Resolve. You can buy additional packages for it. I think you can do the same thing for Audacity. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, DaVinci Resolve, there's things you can buy, things you can do, but in general, it's 100% free, and if you're trying to 100% free, you won't need to pay anything for it. So now, sorry about that break, I really need some water. So now let's get into the thumbnail, because that's actually really important. So with videos, there's a few things that really matter, in my opinion. Obviously, keywords, everything like that, certain ways you can write the description, certain tags you can add, and everything like that that are really going to make a video do just like amazing, okay? We're not going to talk about that because that has to do with algorithmic logic, things like that, and there's a lot to it. You're going to get into some really like crazy stuff that Google and YouTube and just search companies in general do when you start thinking about that, and it's way too much to get into in this video. Like I get paid a lot of money because I know stuff like that, and I'll give it to you for free, but that would be a whole serial overdrive course, I think. No. And by the way, when I say I get paid a lot of money, that's like part of my job, like working on algorithms and stuff like that. Like there's big books written on it and they're changing every day. And like one interesting thing, if you look at Google, it costs them so much to look up search results and people so infrequently go past like 20 or 30 pages in, they actually don't generate search results after 20 or 30 pages. That enables them not to actually have to sort anything. And what that means Is if you rank low on Google, no one is ever going to see your site, your page, or anything like that. It's interesting how that works, right? Like, there are things I believe they're being dropped off Google, YouTube, everything like that. Like, if your video does really bad consistently for long enough, I don't think anyone's ever going to see it, and I think it's just going to be dropped out of the search. But that's a whole nother topic to get into. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, basically for the thumbnail, click-through rate and watch time. Those are two things that really matter most. Click-through rate is how often people are going to click into your video. For this, the title and especially the thumbnail really matter. And watch time is how long people watch your videos for. If you look at some of my videos, one of my attempts to increase the watch time is to put little captions there and stuff like that. But one of the things that makes my videos one of the things that I do in my videos is a quick turnaround. I want to be able to do videos, put them out weekly, maybe a couple times a week, right? To do that, I need to spend very little time editing, which means they're pretty low quality videos. If I wanted to produce something that looked like Mr. Beast, I don't think I could. But if I could, there's no way I could be doing that once a day or a couple times a week, or even once a week. If I was doing videos like that, I'd be putting out one video a year. And maybe that video would do spectacular, but I've spent a lot of time editing videos only to find like my watch time isn't high enough. Like, this didn't work. It didn't connect with the right audience. And it just falls flat on its face. And it feels really bad when you spend hours and hours and hours editing down a video, making it as good as you think you can possibly get it, only for that video to get a couple views and then just fall flat because it doesn't connect with the initial audience. And that's also an important thing. One thing you've got to remember is your videos are initially shown to your audience. And that's how Google and YouTube, actually, that's how YouTube, this is interesting. That's how YouTube figures out if your video is going to be shown to the masses. So when I put out a video that is not to do with Rust or Entropia Universe or whatever my main fan base at that minute is following me for, the video initially gets a really low click-through rate. Because of that low click-through rate, it's not showed to that many people, but it is slowly showed to people, right? Like, maybe it's showed to all my initial fans and the click-through rate is something like 4 or 5%. This legitimately happens on a lot of my videos. They won't show it to that many people afterwards, but they'll maybe show it in search, right? Like, someone will search for that specific term. Now, if the thumbnail and the title are on point enough, they might get low enough in the search results to click my video. It only counts against your click-through rate if someone's seen your thumbnail. So, right, if enough people are clicking, you start rising through the ranks. And what happens is these videos I put out that initially look like failures, like, you can go and see some of my videos. There's comments like right off the bat that are like, Siri, why are you putting this out? This is a bullshit video. You failed. How does it feel to have a horrible click-through rate? Or not click-through rate. How does it feel to be washed? Or how does it feel to be washed up? All sorts of mean things that people say, right? And all right, that's what it looks like. A month later, you go back to that video and it's like, why would someone comment that? Like, this is the same as all those other videos, whatever. 2 months later, you go back to that video. It's like, hey, this is one of the better videos on his channel, or, that he released in that like period of a month. Why would you comment that? And then you go back a year later, it might be the best video I released that year. I'm going to pause so you can think about that, right? So the video I initially released that looked like a failure, that got way less views than I'd ever done before, comes around and becomes one of my most viewed videos. This is because initially it showed to people, gets very low click-through rate, because if you're following me for Rust, you see Minecraft and you think, hey, I'm not into this. You don't click it. That's cool. I understand that. So YouTube sees that as a signal that the video is a bad video. Now, as time goes on, if my thumbnail and my title are good enough, it's going to slowly show it to more and more people. It's going to show it to them in the search, in the browse feature. It's going to show it to them because it's relevant to them. That text, those keywords that YouTube picked up on, it's relevant. They're not showing it to them because they watch Serial Overdrive videos. Everybody who watches Serial Overdrive videos or Serial Overdrive Rust videos, they've seen that Minecraft video, said, hey, I don't want to watch Minecraft. Get out of here. But now it's the Minecraft people that are seeing it. And as they slowly connect with it more, if your CTR and everything like that's perfect, you get more and more views and you start to snowball, right? So this is why I'm telling you, like, don't give up initially. But this is also why what I'm saying, like, CTR and watch time are very important. And CTR is paramount because everything's compared to other videos, right? Like, if every video in a genre has a 1% watch time, all you need to do is get a 2% watch time, in my opinion, and a higher CTR. So for CTRs, the way I do it, I'm going to get into, sorry, I drew this way out. The way I do it, I go to canva.com and I make my thumbnails there. It's super easy. You pick a nice sort of bright picture, right? Like this is one of the reasons I actually buy some skins in Rust, bright skins that really stand out. Use that as a thumbnail. And when you get that we get that initial picture into Canva, crank the saturation as far up as you can do without the image looking like someone just blew a load all over it, right? Crank the vibrance up. That there's like something called blur, I think, or sharpening. Turn that down a little bit so it looks overly sharp. On your screen, assuming you've got a bigger screen, it's going to look a little ugly. But when you look at a thumbnail, it's shrunk down quite a bit. So in a thumbnail, that sharpness will actually look good. You can play around with some other things, but basically make it like think of it like an Instagram picture, right? You want to edit it, you want to make everything look good, you want to make your butt look as fat as possible. You know what I'm getting at. Do something like that, you're good to go. And then you put a nice catching title on the thumbnail. So thumbnail is where you can put a title that doesn't have that search relevancy that the actual title would. I'm not 100% sure. Like Google could be doing some sort of image processing or YouTube could be doing some sort of image processing, but I don't think they actually do that. So I think the thumbnail is all about catching the user's eye. So what this means is, let's say I've got a video that's, I don't know, crazy Minecraft Let's Play, right? Like something like that. Like the title, if we're looking for Minecraft players, should have Minecraft in it. Should have Let's Play in it because it's a Let's Play, let's say. And then maybe it should have something that crazy that happens in there that's going to catch people's eye. Your thumbnail doesn't need to have that. Your thumbnail could be explosions everywhere. Explosions everywhere as a title is not the best title unless people already sort of know what's going on, or it's already going to be shown to a generic audience that's going to connect with it. Again, subscribers, people subscribe, that's the generic audience. So if you're big enough, things like this will work. Mr. Beast could post a video that's just explosions and get a huge click-through rate on that because everybody sees it's Mr. Beast and they think, well, it's going to be a good video because it's Mr. Beast. You know, Dirty Mr. Beast 2.0 isn't going to get that because it doesn't have any followers. Explosions is a fairly generic term. It's going to use the title. The algorithm uses the title to sort of figure out who to show the video to. A lot of people want explosion videos. It's going to be shown to them. It's not going to seem that relevant. It's probably not going to get that many views. You know, the key is as a newer content creator, it's to niche down. The smaller the niche, the easier it is to get higher results, right? Explosions is a very large niche. There's people with millions of subscribers going to it. It's very hard to compete there. Maybe you do have the best explosion video possible. Maybe everything's so on point that it does get clicks, but generally it's not going to work, right? Minecraft explosions might work because now there's more Minecraft players. But what I'm getting at is the thumbnail can have anything you want in it that catches the eye. The title is to catch the eye and to catch the search algorithm's eye. And then you've got keywords, and that's only to catch the algorithm's eye. So think about it that way. Thumbnail, that is for the user. Keywords, that's for the algorithm. Title, that's for both. So do with that what you will. But yeah, Canva, you can do that completely free. If you want to do the 3D text like I do, you make one copy of the text that's black. On top of that, make a copy of the text that is whatever color you want it to be. And then you just move it a little bit off center and you've got your 3D looking, text. And that's content creation. That was a long one. For STS, this is short, but that was a long explanation there. I feel a little bit like, I don't know how helpful this is. But I see a lot of people commenting on my videos saying like, Serial, you're an inspiration. I really love your videos. I got into content creation because of you or whatever, right? A lot of that's people trying to get me to just like click over to their videos and maybe, I don't know, maybe they think I've got some sort of like star power. I don't. But maybe they think I do. Maybe they think I can help them. I can't. But yeah, for those of you who seriously mean that, that's some like genuine advice that a lot of people would probably end up paying money for. Or they pay money for stupid stuff that they don't need. If you've got a Pokemon dildo if you've got a Pokemon dildo collection, that's great. Display it in the back of your stream. Maybe people are going to click in to see it, but it's not worth the money if you're just doing it to get views. It's not going to happen. Maybe it will if you make a YouTube video on my Pokemon dildo collection, but that is not going to be monetized. And if you're the dildo dude, it's not really going to go too much farther than that, in my opinion. Anyways, where was I? So yeah, that's content creation in a nutshell. One thing I want to talk about too, a lot of people think they're going to make a lot of money in content creation. You probably won't. There's a lot of people, generally what I found is people who post their revenue, they're doing it to flex. So they're just doing it as like a, hey, look at me. I made so much money on YouTube. I can buy 2 Lamborghinis and a mansion. That's not the norm. Most people who create content, they're getting very low views. Like I'm probably in the top like 1%, and I don't make enough money on YouTube to live off of it. I live a fairly good life. I'm fairly like middle, upper, whatever class you want to call it. Like very good life. I can live in any city I want to if I had this income, and I'd be doing good, right? Doesn't matter where. Just any city, put me in the most expensive city in the world, I'm still doing fairly good. I probably wouldn't be top 1%, but I'd be up there, okay? That's not off YouTube. My YouTube revenue is extremely low. I want to do a video on that actually. Like I hate to do videos on money because it seems rather gauche to me. Like I really don't like to do it, and I understand like everybody's different, right? This is the thing. This is the other problem too, right? Like if I say let's say I made $10,000 in 10 years off of my YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube for 10 years now, by the way, and the revenue early on was like 0, and the revenue now is actually like barely good. Like we're looking at probably I'll make at least $1,000 a month on YouTube. Probably it's falling right now. I think we're gonna go under that, but you know, in general, ads pay a little bit more in December. They pay a little bit less right now. It evens out about $1,000 a month, let's say. But no matter what number I say, there's going to be someone who could live off of that. There's going to be someone who's making less than that, and there's going to be someone who's making a lot more than that. The people who are making a lot more than that, they don't really care what I'm making because I'm making less than them, and they're like, oh, okay, like where I'm at in my life right now, if you tell me I make $1,000 a month and I live in the same city as you, I live in Boston, I'd be like, I don't know how I wouldn't understand how you live, to be honest, because I couldn't get my costs below that. Like rent on a 1-bedroom apartment would be more than that for me, and I don't live in a 1-bedroom. Like there's no way I could do it. I couldn't imagine a world where I could live off $1,000 a month in Boston. If I wanted to move, I could move to many cities and live off of that. I understand that. And I understand in some places in the world that is a lot of money. And that's not something I should take for granted. I 100% get that. But for me, in the city I'm in, it just wouldn't work. Just like, it's just like if you're in New York City, you need to make more money than I make to have the same lifestyle, right? If you're in like Thailand, you probably need to make less money than I make to have the same lifestyle. And if you make the same amount as me, you're probably living a much more lavish lifestyle. And that applies to a lot. Like Chicago, you can make less money than me and live the same lifestyle. Now, when it comes to traveling, it's a little bit different because then it's more equalized, right? Like if I go to Thailand and you go to Thailand and we both want to live the same lifestyle, we have to pay the same cost. So for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of the year when I'm traveling, I am wealthier than the average individual who is traveling to that place. But when I'm in my city, I'm not, if that makes any sense, right? But the problem with YouTube is you can make that money anywhere, right? So like if I really wanted to move, I could move somewhere and live off what I'm making right now. It wouldn't be a great life. It wouldn't be good for the people around me. It would be horrible because I wouldn't have the same sort of people around me, and like it wouldn't make any sense for me. But I could do it. And there's people that say, well, you could do it. You could live out your dream, whatever. But sometimes it's more important to keep everybody around you happy, to keep those that you love happy, than to live your absolute perfect life. And that's something you learn as you grow up. When you're younger, you want to live the perfect life for you. As you get older, you want to live the better life for everybody else and for, people in general. I like to think when I'm working in my full-time job, I help people. Even if I'm not helping people, like there are things like there's donations and stuff like that I make that I couldn't make on just my YouTube income. Anyways, this is the long way of me saying like I do want to make a video once I get to 15 million views on how much I've made, but it's one of those videos you have to really think hard about because it's the amount of money I made for some people would be significant, for some people would be insignificant, and what I don't want to do is belittle anybody who thinks that amount would be significant. It's a very hard thing to do because we're all in very different stages of life. We're all in very different places economically, and we're all in very different places geographically. And that all affects how we're going to see what amount of money. But the reality of content creation is most of the time, and I'm like top 1%, I think, or top 5 at the very least. But most of the time, you're not making much money. When I started YouTube, I think for the first 8 years, I was making under $100 a month. And, I was making videos just like this. I was grinding just like this. Sometimes I was grinding more. I'm an affiliate on Twitch because I was going on Twitch so often, just grinding out like 1 hour, 2 hour streams daily, right? Like, that's a thing I did. And that's a lot of work. I enjoy doing it. I really do. Like, it's a labor of love. I've said this before. There's videos I make that never see, and like no one ever watches except for me, family, friends. It's just a cool way to share your experiences, I think. And I like doing that. I like doing videos like this. So this isn't work for me. But if you're grinding it out, hoping that it's going to pay off in a monetary way, it likely isn't, right? Like, if you want a monetary payoff, go to college, get a degree in engineering or science, or a degree that's hard to get, and that is going to pay dividends to you. I know that. Like, I went to school, I got a degree in computer programming. A lot of people think that's one of the harder undergraduate degrees to get. And because I have that degree, because I have that knowledge, I get paid a lot of money. That's just how it works, right? Like, the harder the skills you've got, the harder it is to find someone with those skills, the more money you get paid for having those skills. If you are the only person in the world who can stop a nuclear reactor from going off, you can ask for a lot of money. Like, if you're the one dude who can save the world, you could say, hey, I want to be the richest motherfucker alive. And you know what's going to happen? Elon Musk, Putin, the US government, everybody's going to get together and they're going to say, hey, do we like living? Do we like having a place that we can live? Do we like having the world? Elon, how's that starship doing? Can you take us somewhere with other civilizations? And when Elon Musk says, hey, well, there's no way, like, we don't know where to go. Like, even if we get to Mars, it's not going to work. Then they will pay you whatever you want to save the world. That's just how it works. If you have a skill that could save everybody, change everything, like, you can get whatever amount of money you want. And at the same time, if you have a skill that everybody has, if you know how to walk, not everybody has that. That was actually really mean of me. I apologize. If you have a skill that most people have, right? Like, most people can walk, most people can see, most people can hear. Just offended a small segment of my community, and I apologize for that. No offense meant, but if you can do something that most people can do, there really isn't that much money in it for you, right? And the same thing applies to YouTube. With YouTube, the videos you can make about the most expensive thing you're doing are the videos that are going to have the lowest niche, but likely for you to go the farthest. For instance, if you're playing video games on a base console, you're likely not going to get that many views because most people have that, right? Most people have a console. Most people who are interested in making games or playing games have a console to play games on, and they can all make videos about it. So what makes you stand out isn't what you're doing. It's how you're doing it or your personality, right? Now, on the other side of things, if you have a one-of-one car and you drive it around, that is something that only you have. And anyone interested in that item, which there's a lot of people that like cars, they're going to come to your channel. If your personality is nothing and your content is horrible, if it's literally just a live stream of you driving that expensive car, you'll still get a lot of views because it's a really expensive car and people are interested in it. You don't have the longevity there because you got to keep buying expensive cars and like giving people new videos to see, but that one video will probably do decent or really good depending on how badly you drive that car. If you manage to crash the car, that is going to be a viral video for sure. Anyways, what I'm getting at is when it comes to gaming videos, everybody can play a video game. There's very low barriers to entry there. If you're playing on a PC, the barriers to entry might be a little bit higher. Maybe you need a 2080, a 3080, a desktop that costs $1,000. A lot of people still have that. A lot of people have it for their enjoyment, but the barrier to entry is a little bit higher there. Now, as you get into more and more niche things, like if you travel a lot and go to these exotic places, that's something not as many people do. So again, you can make a little bit, like you don't need to be as good on your video editing and your personality. Your content can carry itself. And the same thing like for gaming, it comes down to basically everybody, like how hard is it to get the game? If you got a early preview of Cyberpunk, you can get around a lot of the issues with personality and skill because you're the only person that has that. Maybe you drop that video early. You get views just because it's out early and you've got it. If you got Cyberpunk now, everybody's already played it. It comes down to skill. And there is a fairly low barrier in that, right? Like, if you're good enough at playing an RPG, you're good enough at playing an RPG. Maybe you're a speedrunner. That might be a little bit more skill. That takes more skill. A lot of people can't do it. People might watch you because of that. Again, there are examples of gaming YouTubers with skill. You've got like people like Ninja, Shroud. Like, those are people who are really good at what they do. And a lot of what their content is it's that skill. Then you've got pure personality. So I think for the limited success I have, I think is mostly personality based, because my videos aren't that good. Like, I am not a top whatever percent Rust player. I'm probably bottom like 50% Rust player. I'm probably like bottom. Yeah, I'm pretty low on that totem pole, right? Like, no one watches me for the skill. They watch me for the personality, like how I deliver things. This, like, you're watching this to hear me talk. I don't think you're watching. Some of you do watch to critique my clips, and it hurts. But a lot of you watch because there's some personality there. Probably, maybe no one made it this far. I don't know. But like, you watch because you want to hear what I have to say, because you're interested in this, because I talk in a decent manner, because I'm easy to understand, because I've got a microphone that gives you a crisp, an audio that's easier to listen to, and what I'm saying makes sense, and maybe you're learning a little bit from me. So that's it. That's a personality aspect. And when it comes to the personality aspect, what I found is there's like 3 different ways that you can get someone with personalities, right? You can entertain, you can educate, or you can like make them laugh. And laughing is sort of the same way as entertainment, but basically you're either entertaining or you're educating. If you're educating people, you don't necessarily need to be entertaining, but my better videos generally tend to be educational and entertaining. If you look at my top videos, either it's really short to the point and educational, or it's short, somewhat to the point, educational, and there's some jokes and stuff like that thrown in there. Some of those videos people get mad at me for. In one video I said, hey, you're like, I don't know, I said that you drank like a pint of vodka and you're a bit of an alcoholic, and that's probably why you missed it. Some dude who couldn't really type correctly got really upset at me because he said I was calling him out for being an alcoholic. A lot of people found that joke funny. That was the funny aspect of it. For that one guy, it was not funny. He disliked the video. And if a lot of people were drinking pints of vodka a day and didn't like to be called alcoholics, that video wouldn't have been entertaining. So it would just be educational, and maybe it would be a little bit insulting, and those insulting people would download it and no one would watch it. But like, what I'm getting at is this is where you want to go. You want to go educational or entertaining. And what I found, if you're new to YouTube, go educational and go short. Because if it's short, you don't need a personality. And if it's short, people will click it because they just want the point. If someone clicks on a video, right? Like Rust, here's a video. How to get cloth. I've got a video like that. I think it's got 40,000 views. You know what I do? I tell people how to get cloth. I say, hey, when you get into Rust, here's how you get cloth. You either find it on the ground through hemp. You pick that hemp, you're going to get cloth, you're going to get seeds. You can plant those seeds. New seeds come up, you can get more hemp. If you don't want to do that, you can go around, you can break barrels, you can recycle what you find in the barrels. When you recycle it, out of that recycler, there's going to be cloth. That's how you get cloth in Rust. Right there, you can clip it. You can do that. You can use those exact lines that I gave you and make a pretty good video on how to get cloth, because it's short and it gets to the point and it educates. People like that. They like it when you don't waste your time. A video like this that goes 30-something minutes of rambling is not just to educate, right? Like, I got into the content creation aspect of it. That's something I think a lot of people find educational and entertaining. I gave some of my numbers, some of my thoughts. That's something that only I can give, a little bit of personalization there. And some of you have a bit of a connection to me, right? Hopefully it's not that parasocial connection. For one or two of you, it probably is. You really shouldn't do that. But yeah, hopefully it's not that. Hopefully you're just like, hey, Serial Overdrive, someone entertaining dude. I'm rooting for him. I'm hoping his channel does good. So I'll watch his videos all the way through. I'll listen to him talk while I'm doing work or doing something else. It's background noise, right? That's how I listen to YouTube a lot of the time, right? Like, a lot of my favorite YouTubers are more long-form YouTubers who give me background noise. So videos like this, that's what I'm trying to do for other people and hoping that people find something of use in it. These episodes, like Shit Talk Saturday, I don't say them in the beginning anymore because I was getting demonetized. which I accepted that first video. I said, hey, these videos are going to get demonetized. I'm completely okay with that. I don't want them to be monetized anyways. This is just a for fun type thing. It hurt other videos on my channel. So, yeah, we're not going like that anymore. We're going to say STS, boys. That's what we're doing. Boys and girls, it's STS. It's not Shit Talk Saturday. But this far into the video, we can call it whatever we want. No one cares. YouTube doesn't care. The deeper you get into the video, the less they care about what you said, right? Because what matters is how advertisers see your videos. That's the other thing. YouTube, in the end, is a business. What they want is they want advertisers to be happy, and they want viewers to be happy. If viewers are happy, they come back. So even if you make an educational video, even if the user just watches and clicks out, not the best video, right? But YouTube is going to pick up, they watch the video all the way through. They're going to pick up the people liking the video. Make sure you like this video, by the way. They're going to pick all that up. They're going to say, hey, video doesn't really retain users, but users seem to be very happy with this video, and they're more likely to come back when they have more questions. So yeah, maybe we do promote it. Like, they have things in the algorithm that can sort of detect some of that stuff, that they can like balance it out, right? Like click in, click out, really short watch time, and then click to another video and click out. Like, they can sort of tell like these videos aren't giving people what they want, right? And in a how-to video, someone's in there just to figure out how to do something and get out. So it's not like you're gonna watch like how to beat Elden Ring, see that, and then be like, okay, now let's watch this long-form podcast. No, like you're gonna jump right back into Elden Ring. So no one's really clicking in and clicking to another video. The only way they're clicking and clicking to another video is if they click in, watch the video for a second or two, be like, this isn't what I want, click to another video. So again, things like that do matter, and the niche and everything like that does matter, because when you're thinking about click-through rates and watch times and everything like that, it's comparable to your niche. Again, when you look at Minecraft, when you look at the money in Minecraft, the click-through rates, the watch time, it's all going to be a lot higher than something like console Rust. Not many people are in this niche because there's not that much money in it, right? Like, the last niche I was in was Entropia Universe. It was a very low money niche. My videos cost more money to make than I'd make from the videos. So it was like just me doing it. So it was very easy to get most of the people that were interested in watching those videos to watch my videos. For Rust, it's a little bit harder. There's other Rust console YouTubers out there who are probably making about the same amount of money as me, which is decent money. And that means you can put a little bit more time in. That means people are willing to put a little bit more time in. It's not a passion project anymore, or it doesn't have to be. Harder to compete. When you get to videos that get millions of views per like launch, now you are in with the big boys, right? Like millions of views a video. The problem there is you're competing with people who that is their full-time job, and they have people around their life to make it easier, right? Like if you are a million, if you're making $1 million on YouTube or $1 million, if you're getting 1 million views on YouTube per video, let's say you're releasing one of those videos a day, you probably have a channel that's pulling in like 6 figures a month. If you're making 6 figures a month, you can get rid of a lot of things that would hurt your videos, right? Like, for instance, I have to clean my house, and I usually like clean daily. Like, that's the thing before I go to bed, like do the dishes, do everything like that, get everything ready for the next day. You're making 6 figures in a month. You don't do that. You have someone that comes into your house and does that every day, and that person probably gets like a couple $100 to do it. So that's all set. You don't have any issues there, right? Like, you don't need to clean your shower, spray it down in the morning. You don't need to do your dishes before bed. It's all just done for you. Maybe you've got to go to work. You've got to drive to get groceries. You can have someone do that. If that's not something you enjoy, someone does that. Mow your lawn, someone does that. Hey, thumbnails, you want good thumbnails? You want a good click-through rate? And my click-through rate's actually pretty good. I don't know if I dropped this, but like, I have 100,000 view videos with a click-through rate of 30 to 40%. I'm not going to show it here because I don't know if that's like technically allowed. Like, that's the thing. I want to do this video, 15 million views, how much I made off of them. 10 years on YouTube, I'm about to hit 15 million total channel views. I want to go into how much I made off of that. I can give away ad revenue. That's something that is allowed based on the AdSense policies, but they don't want you to give away analytical data. So I can't tell you guys exactly what click-through rates are. I can't tell you exactly like watch times or what countries are watching the most and all those stats. Like, very interesting stuff, but YouTube The contract that I have doesn't want me to give that out. I do realize some people do give that out, but I don't want to risk my channel. I really like doing this. I really like having that sort of archive of everything I've ever thought over the years. And I don't want to risk it. It's just not worth it for me. But basically, what I'm really taking a while to say is, yeah, like my thumbnails do pretty good, and they do pretty good in niches that could make legitimate money. Like 100,000 views, maybe you're not making $1,000 for that video, but you're probably making like, I'd say at least $200 or $300 for that video. And if the niche pays a little bit more, if it's 200,000 views, now you're looking at like $500-600 on that video. That's a decent amount. There's competition there. Maybe you just found something nobody else has. It's a one-off. You got lucky. But there still would be competition there. There's still people trying to beat you. Because everybody, like, I know how much that is. When I see videos, when I see like some stupid video get like 10 million views, I'm like, how hard would it be for me to make that? Is there a point? Sometimes I try. Usually I don't do as good. Usually I just don't have that magic. I don't have that magic whatever. Sometimes I do decent. Sometimes I do get like 100, 200,000 views on those videos. I'm like, hey, that's not bad. But yeah, that's the thing. It's high competition. The more likely the views are to come in for that niche, for that subject, the harder it's going to be for you to get into it. So if you're looking to get into YouTube as a content creator, the last thing I'm going to recommend is you pick wisely. The console version Rust is a decent way to get into it because while I am introducing my competition to all my methods and letting you beat me, like, this is probably one of the stupidest things I could do if I wanted to have a successful YouTube channel because I'm basically giving you the keys to the kingdom. But I like to help people, so that's what we're going to do. But get into the console version Rust. I don't spend that much time on my videos. If you can get the editing down, if you can get the personality down, you'll be able to do better than me. You will. And you won't be making a killing. You won't be making that much money. But it's a good way to jump into it, right? Like, maybe from Rust, you go into a more popular game or you go into the PC version Rust. And from there, you can go into something like Minecraft. And honestly, like if you hit Minecraft, GTA, some of these competitive FPSs, that's sort of top of the line right there. Once you're there, that's as far as you can get as far as niches go. After that, to go big, you need that personality. There are people with the personality who go above that, right? Like they go beyond the niche, and the niche is themselves. There are certain people like XQC, I guess, would be one of them as far as like Twitch people go, right? Like he can play whatever game and get all the viewers. The reason is the niche is no longer the game he's playing, it's him. And that's huge. If you can do that, then everything changes for you because now it's not about what game you're playing. It's not about what niche you're going into. It's about what co-niches you're going into. The first one's going to be yourself. And that might even be the biggest thing there. And the second one's whatever you pick, right? Like if XQC decides to do Minecraft, he's pulling people that enjoy his videos, which is like hundreds of thousands of people. And then that boosts him to the top of Minecraft and then pulls some of those people. It's a whole different game there. But what I'm getting at is, yeah, jump into Rust console videos, do better than me, put some text in the beginning to increase that sort of watch time. The more text you put, the longer you put that text, the longer you put those subtitles, the longer your watch time is going to be. Make a nice thumbnail. Make sure that saturation, that vibrance is high. Make sure that blur is just a little bit low so it's sharpen. That image is very sharp. Make it a big butt. Make it a big you know what. And then do some really cool titles in the thumbnail for the user, in the title of the video, not on the thumbnail, in the title of the video. Do something that makes sense for the algorithm, something that makes sense for the user, and those keywords, maybe even the description, hint, hint, make it all algorithmic. But in the description, don't break the YouTube terms of service. So what you want to do, make it user readable, make it user friendly, but design it for a machine. And that's it. That's everything. Someone clip that, make a 10-second clip of it, and maybe people be interested in that rather than watching this whole 45-minute epic. Anyways, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I know this was probably the most dry topic I could come up with, but hopefully I made it somewhat fun. And hopefully my next video will be better. If you got ideas, if you got thoughts on what you want to hear me talk about, post them down below. Anyways, until next time, I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you're having an awesome day. I hope you're having an amazing week. I hope you're having an amazing year. And I hope you're aiming for the sky. Or, no. aiming for the stars and at least landing on the moon or whatever Eminem or whatever said. And you get what I'm saying. Until next time, peace.